Welcome to my last-minute channel. China's Xinjiang, Uremi rocked by COVID lockdown protests after deadly fire. Videos shared on social media in China have appeared to show fresh protests against COVID restrictions after an apartment block fire killed 10 people. People in Uremi are seen confronting officials, breaking down a barrier and shouting, "End the COVID lockdown." Infections have hit new highs in China in spite of a tough zero-COVID policy. Authorities in Uremi have now promised to phase out restrictions, though deny that these stopped people escaping Thursday's fire. Restrictions have been in place in the city, capital of the western Xinjiang region, since early August. The BBC was told by one resident in the aftermath of the incident that people living in the fire-hit compound had been largely prevented from leaving their homes. That has been disputed by Chinese state media. However, Uremi authorities did issue an unusual apology late on Friday, vowing to punish anyone who had deserted their duty. Footage shared on Friday night showed residents, many of them in face masks, gathering after dark on the city streets. They were seen chanting, pumping their fists and arguing with officials. The location was verified by the Reuters news agency. One demonstrator shouts through a megaphone, and in another clip, a crowd breaks through. Local media said Thursday's deadly blaze at the Uremi apartment block, which also injured 9 people, appeared to have been caused by a fault with an electrical extension. Online posts have suggested that firefighting efforts were hindered by COVID restrictions. This has been denied by city officials, who sought to blame parked vehicles for stopping firefighters' access to the burning building. In a press conference on Saturday morning, they announced a phased easing of lockdown conditions in parts of Uremi deemed low risk. They did not refer to the demonstrations, but said that COVID cases in the community had been largely cleared and that order would be restored to the lives of the city's residents. Large-scale, disruptive protests are rare in China, although there has been mounting public dissent aimed at Beijing's zero-COVID strategy. This is the last policy of its kind among the world's major economies, and is partly due to the country's relatively low vaccination levels and an effort to protect elderly people. Snap lockdowns have caused anger across the country, and COVID restrictions more broadly have triggered recent violent protests from Zhengzhou to Guangzhou. In spite of the stringent measures, China's case numbers this week hit all-time records since the pandemic began. The Xinjiang region is home to many Uyghurs, against whom the Chinese government has been accused of committing numerous human rights abuses, something it denies. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell for more up-to-date news.